I like big books, and I cannot lie. Hello, welcome to my channel, another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and today I'm doing an announcement for the Big Books of Summer 2026. This is the 5th year on BookTube that this event has occurred. The event was created by Sue Jackson. Her event is actually 14 years old. She started it on her book blog and only moved it over to YouTube 5 years ago. This year, Sue Jackson has a co-host, Melinda, at a Web of Stories. Now, if you are not familiar with the event, the Big Books of Summer is an event to encourage people to read big books. Sue Jackson describes a big book as 400 pages or more. And if you want to participate in this event, all you need to do is read one book that is 400 pages or longer. All formats count. Print books, digital books, audio books. They're all good. All genres and all subjects also count. Science fiction, horror, literary, mainstream, nonfiction, children's books, whatever you want to read. All those books count, just as long as they are 400 pages or longer. If you are reading a digital book or listening to an audiobook, just go to a website and see how long the print version is, and if the print version is 400 pages or more, it counts as a big book, even if you're reading on digital or listening to the audio. Because I like big books, and I cannot lie. There is something very enticing, almost soothing about reading a big book, getting lost in a longer text that has more story, more details, more information, depending on what kind of book you're reading. I do like big books. And this is what the Summer of Big Books is about. Picking up these big books and just getting lost in the book and enjoying them. So I encourage everyone to pick up a big book this summer and just enjoy it. You only have to read one. Now, if you are all familiar with my channel, you know I'm a bit of a reader. I read a lot, so I'm going to be reading more than one big book. I have a huge pile of possibilities. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë, 436 pages to 624 pages, depending on the edition you are looking at on Amazon. Orphaned and mistreated, Jane Eyre struggles to build an independent life while remaining true to her principles. Her position as governess at Thornfield Hall brings her into the orbit of Edward Rochester and a mystery hidden within the estate. A classic blend of romance, gothic suspense, and social criticism. I have never read Jane Eyre before, and is one of English literature's most famous novels. This will be a buddy read with my friend. Bad is Rad. On my Kindle, I will read Munich Wolf by Rory Clements. It is 438 pages long. Munich, 1935. The Bavarian capital is a magnet for young aristocratic Britons who come to learn German, swim in the lakes, and drink beer in the cellars. What they don't see or choose to ignore is the brutal underbelly of the Nazi movement, which considers Munich its spiritual home. When a highborn English girl is murdered, Detective Sebastian Wolf is ordered to solve the crime. Wolf is already walking a tightrope between doing his job and falling foul of the political party he abhors. Now Hitler is taking a personal interest in the case. Followed by the secret police and threatened by his own son, a fervent member of the Hitler Youth, the stakes have never been higher. and when Wolf begins to suspect that the killer might be linked to the highest reaches of the Nazi hierarchy, he fears his task is simply impossible, and he might be the next victim. I have to admit a recent fascination with this era in Germany and the rise of the Nazi Party. I think this will be a fascinating murder mystery. Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry, 464 pages. Set before the events of Lonesome Dove, this novel follows young Texas Rangers Augustus McCree and Woodrow Call on a dangerous expedition into the untamed frontier. McMurtry presents a harsher, more realistic vision of the West, emphasizing hardship, violence, and survival over romantic legend. I had considered rereading Lonesome Dove for June on the Range, but I decided to go for a book half that length, especially since I have not read this version yet, or this prequel to Lonesome Dove. I think Lonesome Dove might be the greatest Western ever written. So Dead Man's Walk may fall a little bit short of that high level, but I have high hopes that this will be a very good book nonetheless. I will be listening to the audiobook. In August, one of my favorite living authors, William T. Vollmann, will be publishing his new novel, A Table for Fortune. It is 3,096 pages long and will be split up into 4 volumes. It is the story of Elliot Stevens, a CIA analyst, and his son Matthew Stevens. Spanning from 1968 to 2019, these volumes come together with Vollmann's trademark generous wit and Olympian prose, a staggeringly well-researched definitive history of American post-war foreign policy with a deft, moving chronicle of a family's descent into resentment and gloom. I know for a fact that I will not finish this book this summer. I intend to read 1 volume per month, or maybe half a volume per month. So this book could realistically take me 8 months to read. As I said again, this book, considered a single novel, published in 4 volumes, is 3,096 pages long. It would be the longest novel I have ever completed, if I ever get to complete it. Emma by Jane Austen, 474 pages. Emma Woodhouse believes herself a gifted matchmaker, but her efforts to arrange the lives of others often produce unintended consequences. Austen's witty and insightful novel examines class, friendship, self-deception, and personal growth while presenting one of literature's most memorable heroines. I'm not sure if I will read the Kindle version or listen to the audiobook. I will be reading this or listening to this book in July for Jane Austen July. I normally skip Jane Austen July, but last year, one of my guests on my live show, Too Tight Lautrec, dared me. I think he double dared me to read Emma, because I recently done a tag video about would I be friends with Jane Austen, and I kind of badmouth Jane Austen. And Too Tight Lautrec, I think, kind of likes her. So this year, I will again be attempting to read a Jane Austen novel. I will be listening to the audiobook, but I may check certain passages on my Kindle. Children of Strife by Adrian Tchaikovsky. It is 496 pages. Humanity's expansion into the stars has created new societies, new conflicts, and new forms of survival. Tchaikovsky explores the consequences of war, displacement, and the cultural change through a cast of characters caught between competing visions of the future. A thoughtful science fiction novel focused on both big ideas and human consequences. This is the 4th book in his Children of Time series. The first book, Children of Time, I think may be a candidate for the best science fiction novel written in the 21st century. The third book of this quartet, Children of Ruin, follows very closely on the heels of Children of Time, in my estimation. So I have high hopes for Children of Strife. I will be listening to the audiobook. For Garbogust, I intend to read Firefly by Piers Anthony. It is 466 pages, a controversial science fiction novel that follows a young man whose fascination with fire becomes increasingly destructive and disturbing, mixing psychological horror, speculative fiction, and taboo subject matter. Firefly is one of Anthony's most debated work and raises questions about morality, obsession, and the limits of fiction. The controversy surrounding Firefly stems primarily from the book's treatment of pedophilia, sexual abuse, and incestuous themes. There are two different criticisms leveled at the book. One, this book contains disturbing subject matter. Two, this book appears to advocate for or excuse the disturbing subject matter. Not everyone agrees with those interpretations. Some defenders argue that Anthony was attempting to explore the psychology of damaged people and taboo subjects rather than endorse them. The subject matter is, again, pedophilia and child sex abuse. So that is a real hot topic, a red button that gets people rather up in arms nowadays. I don't know. I have not read this book, but I will be attempting it in Garbogust. I am also trying to convince someone to buddy read this with me. I'll let you know more about that in August for Garbogust. On September 1st, I intend to start rereading Dune by Frank Herbert. This paperback edition is 884 pages long. This will be a group read with a number of people on Voxer. You are welcome to join the Voxer group. You can send me a message at GEEMONT235 and join the group. This will be in September. I don't think I will finish this book by September 7th, but you never know. This is one of the greatest science fiction novels ever written. This will be my fifth, maybe my sixth time reading the book. The group is only committed to reading Dune. However, I am going to go for the rest of the year and definitely try to read Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. I have read these two books before, but that is way outside the scope of big books of summer. But do join us on Voxer for Dune in September. A subcategory of the big book is the mammoth book. A mammoth book is 800 pages or longer, and I would like to read at least one mammoth book for the big books of summer. I have two candidates. I doubt I'll be able to read both of these books, and I have not yet decided which one I will pick up. First possibility is Southern Man by Greg Iles, 976 pages. Former prosecutor Penn Cage returns in this sweeping thriller set in Mississippi, where old crimes, political tensions, and family loyalties collide. Drawing heavily on Southern history and contemporary issues, Iles combines suspense with the examination of race, power, memory, and justice in the modern American South. Last year, I read the Natchez Burning trilogy, and it was one of my favorite reads of the year, all three books. And this is the last of the Penn Cage books that Greg Iles wrote before he died. The story is set 10 or 15 years after the Natchez Burning trilogy, and I have high hopes for this book because that trilogy was just absolutely magnificent. The second possibility for a mammoth book in the big books of summer will be Mark Twain by Ron Chernow. It is 1,200 pages long. I assume that a couple hundred of those pages are footnotes and bibliographies, but still a very long book. Ron Chernow's comprehensive biography traces the life of Samuel Clemens, from his childhood on the Mississippi River to his rise as America's most famous writer and public lecturer. Beyond the familiar image of the white-suited humorist, the book explores Twain's business failures, family tragedies, political views, and enduring literary legacy. I love Mark Twain. He is an absolute hoot. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn stands as one of America's greatest novels. So I'm very interested in reading this biography. Either Southern Man or Mark Twain will be an audiobook this year. Okay, that is my pile of possibilities for the big books of summer 2026. I doubt I will read all of them, and I may even read another book that I have not mentioned here that just attracts my attention from now until Labor Day. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading big books.